Are you single during COVID? Well, if you have a team of 6 men, the very first video you have to do is how to be single during COVID in your 20s. You're welcome, boys. Number 1 is, what's it been for you? What has dating during COVID been like for each of you? Shalom, you're up first.
For me, it's been pretty interesting. I mean, I haven't been dating really, as you know, obviously because of COVID. I guess it's been somewhat of, it's been an interesting experience where I had time to be able to spend time to get to know myself more, take better care of myself, and also like just work on personal things. And in the same time, I also, had, and it's, I'm still having, right, still going on, where you have like this frustration a little bit where you want to date, you want to meet someone, you feel lonely sometimes, you know what I mean? And like you come home after work and you're like, I want to go out and date, or I at least want to go out and connect with people, and everything's closed, and like, so it's been interesting, I'm trying to just keep a good attitude about it and hope to be back in the market soon.
So the number 1 struggle obviously is, since everything's on lockdown, everything is closed, it's not like you can just go out and meet people. Right? So let's talk a little bit more about that. Jay?
Where to begin? I think the biggest struggle when you're single and in COVID is because everyone has transitioned online. Now it's easier for people to. It's more difficult to build an authentic relationship online than it is like going out and actually meeting people and going on dates and stuff like that. So I think for single people that tried dating or have tried to date during COVID, the biggest struggle is building that authentic connection.
So do you think that that's the solution? Have you guys all tried online dating?
I've tried. I'm actually like, I think exactly what Jay was saying is that it's tough to do online dating, because you can, I mean, first of all, you don't know how long you're going to be dating this person for, like when you're dating online, at least you know that like, okay, you know what, I could get to know this person for like a week, and then if we feel the vibe, I could ask them out. Over here, you could speak to them for like 2-3 months and then build somewhat of a connection without knowing when you're going to meet them, and also then if you do meet them after 3 months, they might just like you guys might not click. So yeah, I personally, I'm a big believer in meeting the person in person, but I don't mind getting to know them for like 3 days or a week before online, before meeting them. But more than that is just like you're just hurting yourself and the other person.
Amir?
What's the question?
The question is, how's single dating life been since COVID?
I think it has never been my priority before COVID or during COVID. So to me, it has always been like, my goal is 4 wives back in Saudi.
Boom! You heard it here first, guys. You see the coffee in the morning, but exclusive, this is why. Tell us about the 4 wives in here, please.
So the philosophy I believe in is that you should only get married or get in a relationship where you're actually competent enough to be able to have a house and a place and become a parent. So that's what I grew up with. That's the philosophy that I grew up with, is you only date somebody who's gonna marry, period. And the joke of the 4 wives is something that I always talk about. That's why I had to include it, but it might be the reality at one point.
Yes, so if you're 4 deep in the comments, he can regroup. He's good with that.
Yeah.
Right, Amir? Yes.
He's gonna just fly them all out to Saudi.
Call me if you want to be one of the 4.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to speak to. The fact that you guys are 3 men, because we're going to have ladies too, but let's go the men's perspective. So if a woman is trying to date, how does she even know that, even if it's Tinder or online dating or Bumble, whatever, like how does she not know that you guys aren't working on different...
I think the first step is just start sharing more stories of your life so people can actually get to know you and find a topic so they can talk with you if they're interested. So that's one. So sharing more stories on Instagram will get you more people asking questions and interested. And girls will not necessarily tell you they're interested or, hey, can we go on a date? They will ask like weird questions as like, oh, what kind of, I don't know, what kind of detergent you use when you wash your clothes? Or like
I don't know.
Stupid questions just so they show they're interested.
Amir, what type of detergent do you use?
We got it. Anyways.
Okay, so Jay, what's for you, your strategy is using social media and a lot of stories to create a connection with people.
There's not really a strategy to it. I've always been someone that, well, I haven't always been that way, but I've always strived for human connection, just trying to speak with different people from different parts of the world, from different parts of Montreal, different parts of what they do. Some of them are men, some of them are women, but I never go into a conversation with someone and saying, oh, this is the person I want to talk to on a daily basis, or I'm going to try and like seduce her, or it's just, I'm just having a conversation with someone, and if it clicks, I'm going to invest more of my time, more of my energy, and show more parts of myself as well.
Okay, I want to get to tangible takeaways so that everyone that is struggling with being single during COVID can be like, yes, this is a great strategy, let me go out and get it. Give me one great point that people can be, I want to try this. This is what I'm going to do to be proactive and to get into action so that I can move away from just being single into finding the right person, even though we're in COVID. Shalom, you're up first.
I'm still looking for that solution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, do you want me to? Okay, I'll coach you guys after. Yes. So you're still looking.
No,
okay.
so I guess you know one thing.
So what do you want a girl to approach you on? How does she approach you? Let's say.
Personally,
yes.
Like I mean, I'm a big like I've till now like for dating it was like mostly like a friend or like one of my sisters would like be like, oh, I know this girl I want to introduce you to, and like normally it was like out of town, so it could have been like in New York, Miami. And it was more like, you're meeting the person.
Yes, from your warm market. However, if you've been single for more than a bit, you've hit up that warm market, right? All your sister's friends you've spoken to, or they're in a relationship. So
and
now
I also
you need
can't travel.
And you can't travel.
That's my biggest problem is that I can't travel.
And you need new blood, right?
Yeah.
Good. So we're gonna get that figured out. We'll got that. Yes, Amir, go ahead.
I think just be social in social media. That's when, like, actually engage with people. It's good for your personal brand, anyways. Especially as a creator. Especially as a creator. And that's what I developed over the past 10 years is I came here with the goal of becoming a plastic surgeon, so no distractions in my life. Okay? So my goal was I have a goal that I want to achieve, and since we started like Coach Sonia and the tribe, I had one goal of building a powerful brand, and I am a person who is committed to whatever I do. Even if it's a relationship, then if I get in a relationship, I'm going to be super committed, and it's going to distract me from the business that I'm basically working on and building, right? So that's really the reason I'm still single in this world, is because I focus on one thing and I can't really manage many things at the same time if I'm putting 100% commitment.
Ladies, listen to this. This is a very man thing. Men have to focus on their business, then they'll focus on you. So we'll get to some other takeaways after, but hear what they're saying, because this is the stuff you actually need to hear.
Yeah.
Jay?
First, for men and women, I think that COVID was a great opportunity for everyone on earth to just go back into, like you like to say, go back into their head, go back into themselves and do the dirty work. And I think that if people have done that, then they're going to start being open to just trying out and going out and being social, like Amir said. But I think it's more about skipping the surface talk and just going straight into like, what are your passions, your dreams? I think people now, especially on social media, we're all stuck at home. Like, what do you do in a day? Like, you're fucking home.
Or
like,
we're here.
Or we're here.
Together.
So just skip that and just go into trying to learn what that person, where she comes from, what is she doing, her past trauma, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay, so
I think Base just wanted to add into what Jay and Amir were saying, is I think what was something that is nice about COVID, right? There's good in everything, right? I think something that was really nice is that I'm a big believer, and I'm sure you guys would agree, that one needs to love himself in order to be loved, and to love others,
Yes.
right? And also one needs to know how to take care of himself in order to take care of others, or others to take care of him. And what COVID has done, at least in my, for my perspective and hearing from other people, is that it sort of almost put people into that, we're speaking about single people, so it put single people in the zone of like, okay, you know what, I need I'm alone, or I don't have my typical lifestyle that I've been living where I felt good by being with certain people, or where I had some sort of momentum in my social life. And now you are sort of like forced on figuring out like, okay, how could I keep myself busy, and how could I, focus on myself to make sure that, hey, you know what, I could be alone and be happy, because I feel like if someone could be alone and happy, then in that case, it's going to be a lot easier for them to bring someone else in, and also maybe even better understand who it is that they want in their life, And on top of that, just another thing that I think is beautiful
Yes.
is that, COVID also forced people to get creative with their social life, with work, with everything, right? Pivot, right?
Yes.
You have to pivot, right? So the beautiful part about this is that, hey, yeah, restaurants are closed, and these certain entertainment, I don't know what, whatever it is, bars, clubs, all these things where people would be socializing and meeting each other are all closed. So it sort of gives you the opportunity to get creative and say, you know what, how could I set up a vibe? How could I set up a date? Yeah, so if you do end up meeting someone, like you could get creative and be like, you know what, maybe I could do something beautiful where I can go to a park, or I don't know, maybe we can do a potluck, me and her, like on the first date, and you get to know the person more, because you're not like meeting the person in a loud room and you're like, hey, what's your name? And like, what? You get to meet the person and spend more quality time, and it sort of just like cuts out most of the bullshit, because it's like more on like, authentic. And like you said, like your date, like, in the case, like, hey, I'm dating to be serious, to be in a serious relationship and all that.
There's also a danger though for COVID, because now we've talked about people that have actually done the work, but for people that haven't, these people during COVID, because they're so lonely, because they need that, like that we talk a lot about, like attachment, like, but attachment isn't love. It's not an authentic connection. So there's a part of the population that did the work that are now looking for authentic connections, but there's also another part of the population who are still stuck, and are looking like an addiction. I need that person.
So let's get to takeaways. Here's what we're gonna do. If you are single in your 20s, the number one thing to do is to shift from this perception of there's nobody out there. Because if you just sat and listened to this amazing conversation, there's great men everywhere. There's great women everywhere. So if you are in that mindset of nobody's there, I'm blah, blah, that's incorrect, and let's shift that mindset. Then be into the mindset of possibility. Once you're in the mindset of possibility, then it opens up. And then you start being open to what's there for you. The second step you need to do is figure yourself out. You all touched on this, and that's what's beautiful about it, is COVID has become beautiful because you've taken the time, and I really hope that you do. That's step one for you. Take the time to find out who you authentically are, what you authentically bring to the table. What's your magic? What's your passion? What's your beauty? What is it that you bring to the table? Because from that, once you know what you bring to the table, then we'll be able to really truly be clear on who it is that you want to manifest into your life. So if you want to manifest into your life to speak to Shalom from the creator and the person who wants to think and be creative and do these fun things, you have to be that for that person in order for that person to show up in your life. Right? So that's what's so beautiful, is when you really look and get clear on yourself, then you can say, okay, well, if I'm really authentic with myself, and if I'm really aligned with who it is that I am, the crazy, the quiet, the everything that you are, and embrace it, and it just be about who you are. Then from that space, you can say, here is the type of person, here is the ideal person that will fit with me. And then you can start doing your due diligence. And then you can start creating that avatar of that ideal man or that ideal woman, because now you're clear on who you are and you're clear on who you want to get. So once you're clear on who you want to get, you have to write this down. You write it down and you create clarity of who that ideal person is. Do you want somebody who's fun, who's gonna, excite you and be passionate about, going for walks and taking pictures and all these kinds of things? Or do you want somebody who's just gonna cocoon with you for the winter so make that really, really clear. Then guess what? Once you're clear on you, once you're clear on them, and once you've created that avatar as who you want to manifest into your life, then you can get creative. Where is that person? Is he on social? If so, what kind? Where is he? Is he on a dating app? Is he through your warm market? Can you ask your friends? Guess what? Once you know what you want, you can then start asking your friends specifically what you want. So today, first of all, I want to thank you, because it's so fun to have a team, a family, those that are so clear and that work on their mindset and themselves so much. And then to you, I tell you, take a piece of paper and a pen and write it down, because let's start with doing the inner work. Because in order for you to manifest the right man or the right woman, it has to start with you. So thank you for this.
Just to make something clear, I'm not looking for someone, so don't DM me.
Just for
I just wanted to add one thing that
Please
I think
do.
is so important.
Please.
After hearing what you have to say. It's just adding on to what you were saying, and it just made me realize it's a quote that I live by for everything in my life.
Yes.
And it's I might not be saying it properly, but it's sharpen your axe every single day, so that when opportunity comes, you'll be able to knock him down, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the idea over here is, I think that yes, there's COVID. It's not easy. We could feel lonely. Mm-hmm. But, once hopefully things start to open again and the social life comes back, do you want to be someone who enters into the opening, depressed and sad and, I was so lonely and I don't know if I'm going to find a girl? Or do you want to be there prepared and say, you know what? Yes, it wasn't easy, but I've been spending time getting to know myself better, getting to know what's out there, spending time, working, focusing on my business, focusing on my health, focusing on all these things, so that, I'm right now setting myself up that once things do open up, I can meet a person and I could be ready to meet that person, ready for myself, and that person is going to be ready to meet me because I'm in a good place.
I love that.
So
the other thing for men versus women, that's a whole nother video.
Yeah.
But men versus women, you guys also have to be in choice to find that right person, because men, what happens with you guys is you'll get deep dive into work, and then in order for you to start manifesting into your life the right relationship, you actually have to make time and space for it.
Yeah.
So on that note, I love you guys. I thank you guys.
Thank you so
Number
much.
1, number 2, number 3.
Me and Amir are off the market.
Yeah.
Don't put number 1.
Hello? Oh, yeah. I just got a date.
And
Sorry,
it's
guys.
blown up.
I'm taken. I'm sorry.
Good night. Bye. Happy dating, everyone.
That was epic.